But yeah, we'll move on to some best bets, and we'll talk about a SEC matchup in LSU and Florida. An LSU team that was ranked for a quick second, number 25 before they dropped out of it. Florida team, started off hot, cooled down a
Cooled
bunch
down.
now.
Yeah, they seem to slow things down a lot.
Yeah, both teams great home environments. I think though, well, this one is at home for Florida. I think Florida gets a job done. It's a 2.5 point spread. I think, you know, that's I'm more than comfortable with that to for them to cover to win by a field goal. I think they're a tough environment to go into. LSU they've kind of made some progress from the beginning of the year, but they're still not.
There's still not any real promise there.
Yeah, they're still they're too inconsistent with the passing game. Their defense is there, but they're not really kind of doing everything they need to do. They haven't got their wide receivers to kind of get involved in the way that they should be. So yeah, I think Anthony Richardson finds a way here. This might be a game where we're just watching Anthony Richardson and
Just
Jaden Daniels, the two of them, just drop back to pass and then run the ball every
yeah,
down. Both when you watch these guys, that happens a lot with them. They drop back to pass and they take off running, and sometimes they'll do it 5, 6, 7 times in a row. You know what
yeah,
I
it's
mean? So
crazy.
this might be one of those games where we're just watching that back and forth, but should be a fun game to watch regardless. But yeah, I think Florida um, will be able to cover that 2.5 point spread at home. Another one I love this week is Vanderbilt versus number one Georgia. Georgia, we heard from Kirby Smart, how tough of a team Missouri was.
Right.
Oh, it's a tough team. It's a tough team. Okay, well, you were supposed to get the job done. You didn't. You almost lost the game. Nobody wants to hear about how it's a tough team, right? That being said, that's one performance. We know these performances are isolated from each other. That being said, as we talked about Georgia's offense earlier in the day here, but and how it's been clicking and it's been doing good. It has slid a bit, right? We saw that performance against Oregon in the beginning of the year.
Right. That was
That
just
was that was something else, and
yeah.
we haven't seen that since. Not that we should see something like that every week, to be
Right.
to be fair, but they haven't they've have struggled in some of these other games to get their offense going at times. Vanderbilt is a team that has been at the bottom of the SEC
Yeah, I think
forever.
if they're able to get their offense going how they did against Oregon, this is the team to do it against.
Oh, I don't think so. I
You don't
think
think so?
well, I have so here's the line on this. 38 and a half. Vanderbilt
That's
has
insane.
Vanderbilt on the other side has shown the ability to put the offense together this year. And so if you tell me Georgia is going to cover 38 and a half, I'll tell you this. You could look at some games and Georgia scores in the 30s. Georgia, for all we know, I mean, I think they probably get into the 30s,
Yeah.
but there's no guarantee they score over 38 and a
38.
half points
Yeah,
themselves.
that's kind of
So
a
for
lot.
38 and a half with a Vanderbilt team that, look, I don't think they're shutting out Vanderbilt. They haven't shut out some of these other teams they played. So you're going to tell me Vanderbilt's going to score 7, 10, 14 plus, and Georgia's going to,
Possibility.
and Georgia is, and if they do that, I don't think Georgia's covering 38 and a half. So I like Vanderbilt here against Georgia. We know these huge spreads are kind of very iffy, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the Vanderbilt team, I think a lot of bettors will kind of look at it and, oh yeah, Vanderbilt's not good. They're always bad. Well, they're a lot better this year. They're still a
Bottom of the
bottom
barrel
of the
in
league
SEC.
SEC team, but they're not a complete walkthrough, right? You still gotta come to play, or you could have a game like Georgia had against Missouri where they're gonna fight with you. That's the type of team this Vanderbilt team is this year. So I like Vanderbilt plus 38 and a half. Moving on, we have Baylor -5 at West Virginia. Baylor's a team that they've kind of been up and down this year. West Virginia as well. At this point, I'm looking at a 3.5 point spread on the road, with a Baylor team looking to bounce back. I think Dave Aranda is too good to just let losses pile up this early. So I'm counting on him to have his guys ready to go and cover that 3.5 point spread on the road. I think they get the win and handle business there. And then lastly, we have North Carolina at Duke, the basketball rivalry on the
Right.
football field here.
Yeah, I think I don't know. North Carolina is really great this year, so
Yeah, and their offense has been great. Duke has, overachieved and exceeded expectations for their program, but I think when you see what North Carolina has done, I mean, they have some problems on defense, but the at the end of the day, you put up more points than your opponent, you're gonna win, and that's how you win games here. And I think North Carolina's gonna do that. The spread is 7 points. It moved. It was at 5.5 before. That's a great get. But yeah, at -7, I'm still comfortable with that. If you go, 7.5, probably a little bit too much if they don't have the greatest performance. But yeah, that'll that'll do it for our college football episode 6, and we'll check back in next week.
we'll check back in next week. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Like, subscribe. We're gonna be coming next week, and thanks for watching.